That's a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think we do have to mention, there are so many horse accidents involving old men. Actually, 2 English kings died just by being like, I still got it.
Yeah. Put me back on that. I still got my class ring. It means I can still play.
Trying to ghost ride his horse. He's surfing it. Oh!
Yeah, William I and William III both died as they were like riding into battle and just were too old and fell off a horse. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Overshadowed, the only podcast about the families of people who changed the world. Today we're talking about one of history's most high-profile catfish, Anne of Cleves. She was betrothed to Henry VIII after Henry saw a beautiful painting of her, but then he met her, and he was like, I think the painter took a lot of liberties with this painting. And so we're going to get into maybe some theories on why he thought that, and if Hans Holbein really was paid off by somebody, or if Henry was just making excuses. But why are we covering Anne of Cleves? She is the most successful of Henry's discarded wives. And today, here to talk about Anne of Cleves is the very funny Naomi Karavani.
Thank you so much
Welcome
for having
to the pod.
me.
Special out on YouTube called
Firecracker.
Firecracker, everybody.
Yeah.
Pause this. Go listen to that. Come right back. Now you know her. Isn't she funny?
Yeah, this is going to be another hour of is she hot or not?
Yeah. Who, Anne or you?
Both of us.
Yeah, we'll get into both. Yeah.
Comments are
we'll
going to
do
be
a Mary Fuck Kill at the end. You're special, and then Anne of Cleves. So have you seen the musical Six?
I have not, but now I do.
It's okay.
Yeah, I've heard it's not great.
It's fine.
Oh, really?
The selling point is that, it's supposed to be great, but I've heard the reviews are not great, but it's a 1-act or 90-minute play, right? No intermission.
It's a quick play.
Okay.
It's just like a contest on who was the most done dirty.
Okay.
And then there's a musical number for each and stuff. And but there's no real, like, I wonder what's going to happen. So that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's
You're
just like
if you know the history, it sucks. But for somebody who's not initiated, they're like, oh, I'm learning so much.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the songs are good. But
is it just like, and this is what happened to me? Yeah, that's fun.
She's holding her head, dancing with it.
The shoulders the whole time.
Yeah. But they do have fun on like a leather motorcycle-y, spikes, and like they have cool outfits.
Oh, that's cool.
Historically inaccurate biker gang queen outfits. But I think it is kind of important to talk about the previous wives just to like set the context for what Anne of Cleves is, like how she comes into Henry's world.
What is she getting her neck into?
That's right. Henry VIII, he was the King of England from 1509 to 1547. He had 6 wives. The first wife was Catherine of Aragon from Spain. Aragon's in Spain. And they weren't having any kids. They kept having girls, I think. Like he couldn't get a male heir out of her. And they consult, like, the reason that he even got intertwined with Catherine is because Henry's older brother Arthur died, who was the heir to the throne. And then it's like, okay, well, I guess you should marry Catherine. And Henry's like, I will. And Catherine's like, I'm going to need a few years to see how you turn out.
Yeah.
And then she stayed in England during all those years. So she was like
watching Henry grow up,
watching him, whether it's a glow up or if he's going to break out, and have MS.
Wonder if the acne is going to clear up.
What's the spine thing called?
Multiple
scoliosis.
Scoliosis, yeah, not MS.
Multiple scoliosis.
I wonder if he's going to have MS. I don't want to.
That's what she was wondering the whole time.
I don't want to hitch my horse to that crooked wagon. They don't have kids. Like they don't have a boy. They may have a few girls, so that round down to 0 doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count. It's like China today. You're like, what is this for?
Yeah, way ahead of their time. So Henry's trying to annul this marriage with Catherine of Aragon, who he eventually does marry. They go to Leviticus. They're like, oh, well, he was your brother's wife, and Leviticus says you can't do that. So that's grounds for an annulment. But the Pope says no. And so this results in Thomas Cromwell, who's the prime minister. He's kind of his right-hand man. He's a very Protestant, devout guy. He's like, hey, let's make you the supreme head of the Church of England, break from the papal authority, and you just run things how you want, and then we'll get it annulled here.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the DMV. You are the DMV. Yeah. At this point, we're going to give you all the authority. that you need right here.
Yeah, and
Work from
Henry
home.
at this point is like, okay, yeah, I'll be Catholic light, but he's not quite Protestant yet.
Yeah, he was a big Catholic authority, I think. He wrote like a big treatise on the sacraments
Yeah.
like before this, and then he just, wanted to get married to Anne Boleyn. So had to change his whole faith.
And that pussy so good.
I know. Yeah.
Change these nations' beliefs. Listen up, everybody.
That pussy's so good, the cracker isn't the flesh. It's just a cracker. I know what the real flesh is.
Yeah.
It's Anne Boleyn. What's kind of funny also is that Catherine, like the way that he met Anne Boleyn was Catherine's lady in waiting, which is like a maid assistant, was Mary Boleyn, who we covered in episode 5. And the king was fucking Mary, and Mary was happy, and the king was happy. The king wanted to fuck Anne. Anne's like, you got to marry me. I'm not like my whore sister. Yeah. you gotta shell out. And that's how. So that's how it happened. And then later, a different lady in waiting. I think Jane Seymour was like Anne Boleyn's lady in waiting.
Oh man, they're just
So
lining
in
up.
waiting for the king's dick. That's what it means. So they didn't finish the whole acronym. So Anne Boleyn's the second wife. She gets executed. We're not really going to go over her. Jane Seymour was the third wife who gave him a male heir and then died a few days after childbirth. And then the fourth wife, the subject of today's episode, Anna of Cleves. Henry is the head of the English church, but because he has been excommunicated by the Pope, he needs allies. He needs like Protestant allies because there's Spain, there's France. These are big Catholic powers. He's pissed off the Catholics. And Cromwell's like, what about Cleves? What was that region called?
So it's Ulick, Cleves, and Berg.
Yes.
So these are the United Duchies. They're kind of under the Holy Roman Empire at the time.
Yeah, it's like North
They're vassal.
Germany-ish.
Yeah, it's so modern day Dusseldorf.
Now I know where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And kind of close to the Netherlands, yeah.
Yeah. And so Cromwell was like, we gotta shack up with the Dutch Clevish, whatever, Protestants to consolidate some power.
Yeah, and these guys were really powerful at the time. It's not that it's not a nowhere place. There are,
which it might seem because you've
powerful.
not heard of Cleves ever.
Yeah. But it's
But it
a
later
big chunk of
became
Germany.
Dusseldorf. So how about that?
Yeah.
That's
Werner
pretty
Herzog
impressive.
was born in Dusseldorf.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did he do that bear movie?
Yeah.
Okay. See?
This is
Next time you think Dusseldorf ain't shit, remember the time the guy got eaten by the bear because he thought they were friends.
I mean, he's done a lot of things, but
He didn't also do My Octopus Friend, did he?
No.
I only
don't
watch
think it
movies
was
where
there.
men become friends
Yeah.
with animals.
And then get eaten by them.
Yeah.
Does the octopus eat him? I don't think
If
so.
only.
I think he wants to fuck the octopus.
He's really in love with the octopus. It's kind of. It seems like a My Strange Addiction thing, but the octopus.
More for a TLC.
Yeah, the octopus sadly passes away. He's friends with the octopus his full
before
life
he could
cycle.
fuck
Yeah,
it.
before
they
fuck
could
it.
consummate.
Yeah. There's and if you do pay for the extra footage, there's a little bit of a there's a tentacle.
That's
yeah, it's nice.
sweet.
Yeah, I went for it. It's totally worth it.
Yeah, but it's true that Henry's choices are limited.
Yeah, well,
In
he's like public enemy number
1530.
one.
Oh,
Yeah,
and the allies,
1539.
that he could choose.
Yeah,
In the allies that he could choose, but also like the most powerful women are lining up. There was one prospective woman that he was reaching out to, and she was like, even if I had 2 heads, I would
wouldn't
not.
give you one.
yeah. Could have just said no, lady. She's like, you're so ugly. Yeah, just roasting him every time he reaches out. Could you please just leave me on red?
So they need to get her brother's approval, right? Wilhelm's?
Yeah,
Yes.
Wilhelm. Yeah, her dad's dead, so Wilhelm, who's a
Right.
year younger, is dealing with the marriage kind of negotiations.
And he's like not excited about the prospects. Of,
really?
Yeah, he didn't. He wasn't
Yeah.
too pumped about it first. I think there was a
Okay.
lot of negotiations where he was kind of like, I don't know.
well, because the reputation that Henry had,
Yeah.
one, he's a cheater.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
don't know if that would factor into. See, Wilhelm is in his 20s at this point. And I mean, we'll get into it later, but he's trying to make major power plays in the region.
Yeah, so
There's-
maybe it wasn't the strongest connection that he wanted.
I think he was hoping for a French. So originally, Anna of Cleves was betrothed to the Duke of Lorraine, and that would have been a more powerful alliance in his mind. Because like England is kind of like
Where's Lorraine?
Lorraine is in France.
Oh, that was like Alsace-Lorraine.
Lorraine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lorraine. Does that make it clear to you?
Okay. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Did I spit on
Sorry.
the microphone? That's how I
just,
know I pronounced it correctly.
You sounded like a cave woman babbling until you said it right.
And wasn't she like married when she was 12?
I thought it was
Wasn't
even
that-
earlier than that to Lorraine.
Lila was like, I thought it was like
Yeah.
12. Yeah, and then it was like annulled around 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, or he was even 3. Like they were toddlers
Yeah.
when this marriage contract
Yeah.
was drawn up. Have you ever seen Rat Race? It's like people will gamble on anything. That's how I imagine the royals.
Yeah.
Like they were like, oh, who's this toddler gonna marry? And they're like drawing up contracts and throwing money at it. But that contract was just like, it was called a futuri. So certain conditions had to be met in order for the marriage to occur. And Anna's dad had to pay Lorraine a bunch of money. And he didn't do it. And that's why it was canceled.
Ooh, he stiffed
Oh,
on the
wow.
dowry.
Yeah. So,
Can't stiff on the dowry.
yeah.
Well, Henry was so desperate, or Henry became with the influence of Cromwell so desperate to buy to make this marriage happen that Henry gave Wilhelm 100K florins
Yeah.
and like basically bought
Yeah,
her.
yeah. They didn't.
And
she
he
didn't
revoked the
need
need for a dowry, which would have been funny if he was like, "Now give it back. That's the dowry.
Yeah.
Net zero on the dowry."
But they were happy. It was weird because they were like, everybody was like, they seem so happy. So they
Yeah.
at least played it well, which I do like.
Well, by the fourth wife, you kind of got the sense. Of
Yeah. You know how to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
fake
You
it till you
look
make
good,
it.
right,
Yeah.
right.
How's it
Trump-
going, Toots?
Trump and Ivanka. Which one? Is it Ivanka?
The one right now? Is
Yeah,
it
who's-
Melania?
Melania.
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 Ivanka's the
You
daughter.
forgot Melania's
I forgot.
name?
I haven't even
I forgot
seen
the name
her.
of the book. I guess. Yeah.
When was the last time you saw Melania? She's
Well,
not-
now she's out.
she's out, dude.
Yeah,
Now
now
she's out 'cause
trying to sell that
she's on a-
book.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's out?
Yeah, she's on a pro-choice. No, she's out as in the public, not gay or resigned.
Oh, okay.
She's selling a book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But she's still married to Trump.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Where have you guys been?
Yeah, that's my girl.
I mean, I knew that.
I didn't know. I haven't
That would be
checked in on-
awesome. That would be a good October surprise. Is if Melania files for divorce. I just can't anymore. I'm leaving you for Tim Walz.
I'm leaving you for JD. That's
Yeah.
the one I want to see.
Yeah. Do we have anything else leading up to the picture, or could we get into the picture and Hans Holbein? Oh
Well, yeah. There, he does see a portrait of her,
Yeah.
which is like nearly identical to the one that's painted later. But he's like, no. I want to get my painter to paint it. And Hans Holbein, he's not a nobody. He is one of the most famous painters of the Dutch Renaissance.
Wow.
Like he's up there, and he was given specific instructions to, make it as true to form as possible, as realistic as possible, no embellishments. Right, buddy?
Yeah, he was like, don't give her dimples. Don't.
No freckles.
Don't
Yeah.
enlarge in the areolas.
Yeah.
No cheating.
None of my favorites, please.
Yeah.
Put her as is.
I know you know what I like, but also I think it's funny that the Cromwell, the prime minister, was like, "Look, you're gonna want to marry Anne. We'll get a painter in. Hans is great. Hans. We love Hans."
Yeah.
And-
He also paints her little sister Amalia too.
Was he interested
Oh,
in
wow.
Amalia?
No, nobody was interested in Amalia.
Oh, why not?
No, it's-
Was
Yeah.
do we have a picture of her? Maybe we'll
No,
look one
we
up
don't.
later.
None
Yeah.
exists today.
None exist?
But her older sister. Did you guys read about Sibelius?
I don't
No.
know. I only heard of her.
Sibelius married the Elector of Saxony, which is a really powerful position. They basically elect the Holy Roman Emperor.
Oh wow.
And if you thought Henry VIII was fat, this guy John Frederick was once called the fattest man in Europe, and there was
Wow.
rumored that only one horse in all the land
That's awesome.
could
an
handle
elephant
him.
they painted.
yeah.
I mean, him in armor is the funniest
Ooh,
thing.
we gotta look him up.
What's his name?
John Frederick of Saxony.
Because at Henry's biggest, he was nearly 400 pounds.
Yeah.
You see? Oh
Oh
wow!
wow.
That's a
Yeah, they
big
painted
guy.
him pretty big.
Yeah, see, look
Oh,
how
wow.
dumpy he looks in his armor.
Oh yeah. They even wow.
There, that's a good one.
He can't even make armor look good. That's tough. When the armor can't even hide
the
it.
armor is not
if you got man
slaying.
boobs and armor, you're a big boy.
Yeah.
Most
If
of
they can see your nipples through the armar.
yeah,
You're sweating.
making
You
armor
have
look-
sweat stains on your armor.
yeah, that's where the term Under Armour came from. They're like, holy hell, that's transparent.
That's a big boy.
That is a big
He
boy.
takes up most of
So,
the canvas.
Yeah, so
They said that about Henry, that he spilled over the canvas. I guess like a painter said that about
Oh,
Henry. He's
yeah.
like, I need another fucking canvas.
Yeah, can we get another?
Paint this
I-
guy. It's gonna have to
yeah.
be a 3-panel.
For me, Henry VIII looks like Chris Farley fell into a stage curtain.
Yeah.
And just like, got up off the floor and was like,
Wearing the curtain. Yeah.
And he had that. I think I may go with
Dumb
the
beard.
Well, he had beady eyes, dumb beard, but he had that ulcer leg,
oh yeah.
and it was
yeah.
rumored to just always be stinking.
Yeah, which he complained that Anne was stinky, but it could have been that leg.
Yeah.
Well, he said some college frat boy stuff about Anne. He was like,
It was some
"There's
locker room
foul
talk."
odors coming from below," and I was
sure.
like, "All right, buddy."
Yeah. How about your shin?
Yeah.
So yeah, the picture. So yeah, he sends Hans Holbein to go paint all these women. It was like a bunch of women, right? He got like a bunch of
Yeah, I mean, I know about
Duchess's
Amalia.
headshots
Yeah.
sent to him, and
How's he swiping in
Yeah.
the Great Hall? Like,
Yeah.
there's just messengers holding
holding it
paintings,
behind.
and he's like,
just shoots an arrow at the guy.
Yeah.
Thank you, my lord. I guess not Emily. Yeah. So what happens with the painting? Or maybe I'll just go back to the notes. I guess.
Well, he paints it and then he brings it back and he's just immediately enchanted by it.
oh yeah,
She looks amazing.
This was how it was. She looks demure. They
I
they
know.
said that
It was
there.
fun to
Yeah.
see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what she looks like in the second painting.
pretty hot.
Pretty
Yeah.
hot. Yeah.
She's okay for
I-
Flanders Mare.
Yeah. For the Where's
so
Flanders?
rude that
Where's
they gave her
Flanders? I
that
thought is
nickname.
Flanders England?
Flanders is
Flanders
north
fields?
of Belgium. Is the northern part of Belgium?
Okay, that makes more sense because that's where she was from,
Not quite.
ish.
Yeah. Well, the painter was Belgian. I'm guessing.
So he's like, you painted your horse.
Yeah.
And sent me a picture of your
Yeah.
horse. He's like, oh shit, I sent you the wrong painting. I painted my horse in a full queen getup. But all of Henry's other wives were like these petite young women, and apparently when Anne showed up, she
Yeah.
was like tall, big boned, like Caitlin Reese. Not Caitlin Reese,
Caitlin
Caitlin Clark.
Reese.
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin. Yeah,
Not
yeah.
Caitlin
She
Reese.
does have a Caitlin Clark kind of face.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
does kind of have a Caitlin Clark
Kind of
face.
plain white girl.
Caitlin
Yeah.
Reese is a comedian.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
she has
is
a
fun.
middle America face.
Yeah, I
She's
did
a
like.
flyover.
Yeah, I like this quote. Is her face was dominated by a large nose that had been cleverly disguised by the angle of Holbein's portrait.
Mhm.
Which, like, if he should have given him like a mugshot.
Yeah, a couple of different angles.
Yeah, a few angles.
Well, that's what I wonder. If this guy was like the most trusted painter in all the land, why would he supposedly trick his king? Because this guy has a
Yeah.
temper. Wouldn't he be like
Yeah.
immediately? I thought when reading that when he saw the wife Anne in person, he was so angry. I thought the next part was going to be that he sent
Hans to
to death. There was no mention of that. I don't know what happened because this guy had the balls to apparently paint her. So
Yeah, I
hot.
mean, I think we'll get into exactly why that is, but yeah, there's multiple portraits of her, and they all look pretty much the same.
Mhm.
Like he did a good
Why
job.
do you think it is? I want to hear your theory.
Well, I mean, it will. Yeah, it'll spoil too much.
Okay,
I
okay.
feel like.
Okay. When do you want to get into it?
Yeah, once we go through the whole story of the meeting and
Okay, sure.
that
Extra.
kind
Okay.
of stuff.
Gotcha. Stay tuned, everyone. That's what we
'Cause
call the teaser. Okay, Naomi's a little coy today. Well, maybe minute 30, I'll spill the beans. They gotta earn it. It is crazy to marry your wife via a painting. Like
Also-
this is
yeah.
the first time he did that.
And he was so excited. Like he immediately, I think he was like, "Me and that painting. Why don't you leave the room?"
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, this
yeah.
guy, he was apparently so stoked by this painting.
A pair of scissors and a big grin on his face.
Yeah.
They need some private time with the Hans's work.
Yeah, I mean, she probably looks stunning for 1539.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
Yeah.
a
She was all
1539
decked out. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
like a
Her
girl-
waist was looking unrealistically thin. In that
Yeah,
picture.
Yeah.
that was a
Which
Barbie
they have
waist.
corsets, so
That's true.
it's all getting squeezed up and down.
Well, that might have been the biggest letdown because when they met, he's like, "Oh, what a saggy loose," and I'm like, "What?"
He did comment on her loose boobs. I
Loose?
think he said he gave that as evidence as why she may have had a child before.
Oh,
yeah,
she
I
has
don't.
loose boobs
Yeah.
and stomach.
Yeah,
And it was true that like he preferred petite women and she was like bigger boned, I think.
I mean, yeah, this guy couldn't get it out the whole time anyway. Well, and I think this was wasn't this the tradition where if you had sex with your wife on the wedding night,
everybody
watches you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To make sure you consummated it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that could have been around this time.
No.
This wasn't it?
way. Watching the king have sex?
Yeah,
no way.
I think this was it. Yeah, I think you were allowed to watch on the wedding night.
That might have been
You're thinking Mormons.
Yeah. Oh, sounds great.
No, there was something where like they had to watch for the consummate because I don't know. They're like they're verifying the dynastic integrity.
Oh yeah.
Of because what if a fucking man in waiting slipped his seed in there at the last minute because Henry couldn't perform.
Yeah, but the women are like so cloistered and so far away from the men that they would never like there's just such high security.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was a bunch of dudes watching.
I don't think anybody was watching. I know you guys like to believe that.
No, I think that's the England I want to remember.
I don't know. I saw a lot of cool paintings.
Yeah.
A lot of people sitting in chairs.
There's risers and popcorn. There's a lot of evidence about. I think they might have watched. Well, whether they did or not.
At least with Anne, I actually don't think they did with Anne. Because it seemed like, and we're kind of bouncing around here, but Anne had such limited knowledge about sex that if anybody was watching, they'd be like, yeah, do more than whistle at each other or something.
Yeah, Anne had no idea. There was a period where like she's talking with the ladies in waiting and who were big sluts apparently.
Yeah.
And they were like, so are you like, is a child
they
coming?
fucked Henry.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you
And then she's like, well, we did kiss, so any moment now.
They're like,
showing?
Oh no.
Yeah. This prude bitch doesn't know a thing.
Yeah. When I read about Anne's upbringing in Cleves, that they couldn't, like in Cleves specifically, they would only see men in their courts when it was like a 300-person dinner or like a formal social affair.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was also.
So in her area, it was very.
She was always like veiled in because you couldn't let anybody find out how hot you were. So it is funny that
until Holbein showed up.
Yeah.
It's my moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is funny that, I mean, even back then they were like, is she hot or not? We don't know. And it's the same question today.
Yeah.
Everybody just wants to know, was she a 6 or a 7? Yeah. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
those are the biggest historical debates around women. Cleopatra. Anne of Cleves.
It's all the results when you type it into Google about Cleopatra. The first, was she hot? Was she a butterface?
And we do have like her profile that looks pretty bad. So
yeah, sorry, Cleo. You were smart though. That's nice.
Yeah, she was cunning.
That's the silver lining of being called ugly in history is that must have meant she was very smart.
Exactly.
Because she was so successful.
I know. And we didn't talk about Anna's education, did we?
No, not yet.
No. You want to? We can talk about it before we get into this little Christmas surprise. Oh yeah.
So Anna just learned how to manage estates.
Very practical.
And balancing books. Her and her sisters, I guess they didn't imagine they'd be marrying up so high.
Yeah.
And her only artistic pursuit was embroidery.
They chose
she could make a mean quilt.
Yeah.
It was weird that they chose not to teach her a lot of instruments or anything kind of within the arts because it seemed like the upbringing was a little unconventional because the women learned a little bit more, that they had masculine educations. It felt like the balancing with the real estate, and then actually it seemed like they learned much more academic things than other countries, but they were like, no instruments for you. You can write cursive.
It wasn't aristocratic stuff. She didn't know any other languages besides German, and she didn't know harpsichord.
Yeah,
but she could hunt.
Yeah, she really liked to hunt.
She's like a southern girl.
She did like to join in on the hunts. Yeah, she was like a farm girl.
She's like a Sydney Sweeny.
Yeah.
Fixing cars.
She was working on a Bronco on the weekends.
Yeah.
Is that how they're trying to prop her up, or is that actually what she is?
Kind of.
Yeah.
She was just one of the guys. Well,
no, I'm
that
talking
was just
Sweeney.
Oh, Sweeney does fix cars.
Sweeney does fix
she's
cars.
A car girl.
It's ridiculous how much.
Is it just because of how much cleavage you can expose when you're fixing a car? She's like, that's a great avenue.
Yeah,
she's
hanging
to
upside
focus the boobs.
Yeah, gonna get in through this way is the moonroof. Yeah, her and Natalie Roush. That's like
this is how I clean the dashboard. Yeah, from the sunroof. Yeah, she wasn't like a courtly lady.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is also true of Marie Antoinette, actually,
Yeah.
because we studied her, I guess for her episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
but
she got-
Marie Antoinette went all out when
Yeah.
she got into the court. She was like,
she did. She was balling.
She was
did,
like,
she
my
did.
hair's
Well, it
gonna
was
be
a-
10 feet high.
It was a response to trauma. It was a trauma response.
Yeah,
So
that's a
we,
weird
you know,
response.
We can't begrudge her for that.
Do you guys make my hair look like a dragon?
Yeah, that would be really healing for
I
me.
guess.
This is all just a lot to take in. But I think similar too to Marie Antoinette, like, because she was Austrian. So these kind of Eastern Central European ladies, it's more of a private life. You have fun with your family.
Yeah,
you're out on the
true.
ranch. You're enjoying family time. And then you go to these bigger palaces and kingdoms and stuff of England and Versailles. And then everything's public.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all your business is out there. There's a lot of gossip. There's enemies now everywhere.
Yeah, so just like learn how to pay your bills and that's it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Right. But do you guys want to get into how they meet?
Oh yeah, so she travels
Well, Henry picks her.
overland. Yeah, he picks her. He's like, I'm cool with Anna.
Yep.
Amalia is an uggo, I
Yep.
guess. Never marries.
Yeah, it's so funny. What if you saw the picture of her first and was like, oh, like how ugly was Amalia?
Yeah, well, painters tried, but every time they did, the canvas would rip itself.
Yeah.
Jump out a window.
That's why none survive.
Yeah.
She's supposed to travel by sea, and then her advisors are like, no, she's never left home. It might damage her delicate complexion to travel by sea during the winter. And then she has to travel over land through French
You
territories.
think she's just going to be a little blue forever?
Yeah.
It can't be too cold.
We've got to see her
She'll
veins.
stay that way. Yeah. That's so weird.
So she travels by land, and it takes like 3 months.
Yeah.
And they bring a whole fleet. Don't they bring like hundreds of servants?
Well,
Yeah.
she was going to go kind of alone, but then I think she hooks up with some English merchants. So it's like a traveling band that's going to England anyway.
And there's a big German party as well.
Okay.
And
So she's rolling deep.
She is
Yeah.
rolling
She's got a
deep.
school. Maybe that's why it took so long.
Oh, for sure.
Like, do you have a table for 300?
Yeah. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
It's going to be. Could you guys wait a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have time.
Then she has to sit there at the end of dinner and split the bill.
Yeah.
As she was taught.
Good thing she knows how to
Yeah.
tip.
I think she's got that old
We'll write on the back
Cleves
of the check. Don't worry.
So it's taken a while. It's a windy, rainy few months. So she was supposed to get there, I don't know, the year before, but it's not happening. So it has to go into January 6th, which is when they get married, one of the holiest days, January 6th. And I think Henry is just losing patience. So he arranges to meet her in England. He finds out where she's staying,
Yeah.
what inn she's staying at. Then he puts on a disguise.
Weird to put on a. I think.
Yeah. It's like a chivalric thing.
Yeah.
So there's some story about, a prince meeting his bride and in disguise, and it's all cute, but you have this he's 48 at the time?
He's 48, and he had just suffered this huge jousting accident 2 or 3 years early.
I think it was at 44. By the way, the accident was an armored horse fell on his body,
which was also armored.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think we do have to mention there are so many horse accidents involving old men in England. There's actually 2 English kings died just by being I still got it.
Yeah. Put me back on that. I still got my class ring. It means I can still play.
He's trying to ghost ride his horse. He's surfing it. Oh!
Every horse, as soon as they get on, they're like, oh!
Yeah,
come on, giddy up, Roman.
William I and William III both died as they were riding into battle and just were too old and fell off a horse. Yeah,
I think the horse maybe gave him a little bit of a.
That's really
off of me.
that's bad for morale to
Yeah.
see your king charging into battle and fall
right
off.
before.
Yeah.
Can you imagine both are about to converge? Whoa! Some guy just rides by, beheads him immediately. All right, well.
The archers are
I guess I'm king now.
woo!
So
Yeah, they haven't even fired the arrows, and the king's already
yeah,
falling off.
So Henry VIII is I still got it. I'm gonna joust, and then bam, fucks up his leg till the end of time.
Yeah, it does never heal. It's the most disgusting, smelly, huge, pussy ulcer. And it's filled with ulcers. How do you get ulcers in your leg?
I don't know. You're the ulcer.
I did have
authority
ulcers.
here.
Yeah,
You're the subject matter expert.
Yeah, and it boggles me. It's a rare case.
Who knows? And apparently he also got like a head injury, like a bad head injury from this, and he became
he was
like
a little
unstable. Like he got like some CTE from jousting, and he he went all Aaron Hernandez on his last few wives. Which, by the way, just quick aside, the kids I babysit, there's like an Aaron Hernandez poster. You know, there's like a Hulu documentary about him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not a poster in their room. It's like it's like on the bus station of a guy reaching for a football with handcuffs on. And they think it's one of those like challenges that NFL athletes do on TikTok where it's like catching the ball. I'm like, no, he like killed his wife and his friend or whatever. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, he's like a felon. That's why the handcuffs are there. It's not like a fun challenge. You know?
Wow. So these kids learned about suicide.
I didn't teach him about suicide. No. I'm like,
let me tell you why
it was
wrong.
because he was gay. He killed himself because he was gay. So that's what'll happen if you don't listen to your
going
parents.
through Brooklyn, all these people are gonna.
Yeah. Anyway, So Henry had like some bad CTE, and then he's like bedridden for like 2 years or something after the jousting accident. That's when he's really like, putting on pounds.
And he's like, bring me these paintings of wives.
Yes, please.
In the
a fresh stack.
So this spry 48-year-old, 400-pound man bleeding goes and meets this royal woman who doesn't know who he is, and he kisses her. Right?
Yeah, grabs her hand, right?
He hobbles up to her.
And she's like,
She's like, what the fuck? Throws up in her mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
it was written in the manuscript.
And it's so funny because he thinks he's like, this is like the story I heard about.
This is going to be our first, this is like how we met.
Okay, play our
and
song
we're
when I
tell
grab our
people.
hand. Play your song. Do you have the harp ready?
Yeah.
Oh, and when he went to visit her, she was watching bull baiting.
Nice.
Whoa,
Yes.
what is? I didn't know that.
It's
what is
tough.
that?
It's
Do I wanna know
it's
what it
worse
is?
than bullfighting. Which
It's
is
you like unleash a pack of dogs onto a bull, and they try to bring the bull down by biting its nose and its neck.
Wow.
Ultimately killing the bull. So she's just relaxing.
Watching the game.
as you would watch a stream, or
Yeah.
wind go through the trees. She's watching a bull die in peace, and then this fat stranger comes up to her, hello, kisses her on the hand, and she's like, a pleasure, I'm sure, thank you, and then goes back to watching the bull baiting.
Well, I mean, she was immediately, and it was probably a fun moment to hear about because this king has led his whole life of being in charge and probably thinking he was perceived as the most powerful, handsome leader in the world. And then he goes and just grabs this lady's hand and kisses it as a romantic gesture, and she doesn't know who she is, so he got like a real read of how he presents to the public.
True. Well, there was also the what was supposed to happen with the courtly love and the chivalry is like true love was supposed to give her supervision to see through the disguise someone she had never met before and like know that this was her husband. And also, I think it was supposed to be a test. Like to make sure that they were in love, which seems like the opposite kind of like if I went up disguised to a lady I was supposed to be married to, and she was like, "Hey," I'd be like, "You slut!
Yeah.
You don't even know who I am." I mean, I am your husband, but you were just gonna fuck that guy.
Yeah.
You don't know that guy.
Exactly.
That's a bad test.
That doesn't make any sense.
Very weird. And didn't he like forget the gift? He was like really out of sorts.
Oh yeah.
His face turned red. He threw up mom spaghetti on his.
According to the English tradition, he was then so flustered that she at her recoiling that he forgot to give her furs and these gifts that he brought for her. But in the German account, which was written a few days later, the English account was written 6 months later. So preview to what I have to say later. So the German account says, so it's true she didn't recognize him at first, but then he gave her like a golden goblet encrusted with diamonds and rubies and all these gifts.
Yeah, you're Henry, obviously.
So and then he dined with her that night and then stayed in a castle nearby to protect her ladyhood
Preserve
or
her virtue.
maidenhood, and then had breakfast with her the next morning. So that's according to the German account.
Okay.
So they're like, she's getting along fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
How awkward would that must have been, though? Because at least, so she recoiled at first, and then he had to be like, "But I am." She's like, "Oh, yes,
The Supreme Head of the Church of England.
yes." I was joking. Did you understand?
Well, yeah, this is speaks to like she wasn't raised this way. Like if this was an English woman, she might have understood the game.
Maybe.
This was like in
maybe.
Love Tales and Knights, so like she may have played along, knowing that, which I guess is something you have to do as a woman of the time. Like if some guy comes up to you, kisses your hand, and gives you a little rock as a token, you have to be like,
yeah.
David.
Yeah.
You
Don't
know, and he's
murder
like,
me.
yes.
Yeah.
I hope this isn't just another homeless man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're taking me to the woods. Oh.
Is the castle in there?
Or picnic? You don't have a basket on you though.
Really quick, I'm going to share my location with my sister.
Yeah. We did when my mom was visiting this weekend. I've never had this happen in New York. We had a homeless dude come in to the breakfast place that we were at. You know, there's like the main door of the restaurant and then the side door that's directly into the dining room.
Uh-huh.
So
And he's like, I'm a busboy.
yeah. I was like, Eric Adams. There he is. With free flights to Turkey. This guy came in and I saw him out of the corner of my eye, so I knew a homeless man had entered the building, but not the severity of the homeless man. So
you couldn't smell.
No.
Yeah, did he stink?
No, he didn't. But so he goes up to this guy behind us. He's really in his face, but again, he's in my periphery. And then he loops around to the head of our table, and my mom is near him. And he is the most homeless I've ever seen. He is foaming at the mouth.
Oh, boy.
He is rabid. He's half raccoon.
Yeah.
He's almost fully transformed. That's
Yeah.
what all raccoons are. They used to just be homeless. And my
That's
mom
why they still have hands.
And he's about to break into an a cappella song.
Yes. He's offering my mom a nice fur. And she's like, the tone she was using was crazy. She's like, no, go away. No.
Oh, boy.
Like
Shoo?
a dog, like a very shoo.
Yeah, gets a little newspaper.
Right. And I was kind of horrified because, the homeless people are people. But then I saw the guy and like he was like, almost foaming on us.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Right?
nice.
And
You got to save some of that foam. It's good luck.
And I
Like
give
a rabbit's
kudos-
foot.
I give the foam of
Yeah, you
a
carry it with your
homeless
little
man's
bottle.
lips.
Is it
Yes.
holy water? It's homeless foam.
Can fix jousting ulcers.
Yeah.
But I was so horrified, by the way. But then I saw him and I was like, no, that was the right call to use that tone.
No.
But if you use that at a normal homeless guy, it was like, hey, come on.
But he got it.
But he was like leaning over our table. Like it was really
What was he at?
involved.
Was he talking?
That no. I mean, he was like, that's okay.
Is that a battery?
We
got
got
another one?
We got enough taken.
He was like, what's that called? Pre-verbal?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? He was the most homeless. Yeah. Like all of his rags looked like one blanket that was spun around him. Yeah, like he's 1,000.
Yeah, you need one of those TikTok barbers to go help him.
Yeah, clean him up. Turns out he's a master juggler.
Yeah. Gets into the cellar the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. No, he's got chops.
Yeah. He's naturally funny. Anyway, so yeah, that was just my I wonder if this guy is actually
The King Henry.
Bill de Blasio.
I saw de Blasio on the street once during a moving job, and people were just walking by going, douchebag! And I'm like, oh, man. He was just literally eating a bagel. And it is funny because everybody does that same trick. And you see it on TikTok. They're like, hey, what's up, man? Just wanted to get a picture. And they're like, yeah. And they go, fuck you. And you're like, whoa.
Oh, wow.
But I saw it in person, and I was like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
But he was nice to us. He walked by us holding the couch. He goes, keep up the good work, boys. And then,
And then you were like, douchebag.
Yeah, I was like, loser. I fell downstairs. You still suck.
Dropped the corner on his foot.
Yeah. So now we're at the part where they meet, right?
Yeah, so
And
they met. Henry is very embarrassed by this.
Yeah.
And according to most accounts, Henry's like, I like her not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. He's in
ugly
his
bitch.
feelings, Drake would say, about this.
But he marries her not to be rude. Hashtag king.
Yeah.
Hashtag king. That's a king move.
And he needs alliances.
Yeah, he couldn't
So it's
afford to not marry her at this point because then that's going to alienate him with Cleves and William.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just strange to me that he needs this person for an alliance, but he tried to be romantic about it. It's like just
well, I think all the marriages are arranged. I think that's how you get the spark going. I think that's
I guess
what you
so.
do.
Yeah. Disguise
he's
it
still
up.
gonna fuck her, so
Yeah.
He's gonna try.
Maybe.
He's gonna try.
Maybe.
He's gonna try.
Maybe we don't know. We don't know.
He's touching her. You see boob saggy, stomach, sheets of loose skin, like a just gave birth body, which is a pretty tough thing to say. That's a pretty tough accusation to levy at a woman.
Yeah,
it's like she's obviously just giving birth.
When anybody
right?
asks me if I've had kids, I'm immediately offended.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you think?
Yeah, you're wearing Spanx under there, right? But I think she was a virgin.
Yes, she was. And she could have not had the body that he said she did.
True. This could have all been like a kind of clever cover-up for the fact that he can't get it up, which I love his argument.
Yeah.
Because now he's trying to dissolve this marriage.
Yeah.
And even he doesn't have the grounds to do it as whatever supreme head of the church. So he's like, guys, but I do still have wet dreams.
Yeah. That was
so.
It's not me. I'm jizzing every night.
And this is all going in the annulment proceedings.
Yes.
When he's trying to annul the marriage, it's all this paperwork about how busted she is.
Yeah, you can imagine official documents. She's so fucking ugly. Yeah. I mean, the way they sang.
Bring in scientists with calipers like this much sagging cannot be expected to arouse the king.
Yeah.
Perhaps this much.
This much is just natural.
And then they're like, bring the sheets, bring the soiled sheets of Henry.
Yeah.
Smells like a boy, doesn't it, everyone?
Could be.
It's so funny that, like, if ever I had a wet dream, I'd like hurriedly take it to the washer and make sure no one's. Henry's like waking everyone up. Yeah. Get up!
It's her.
Check it out.
Yeah,
it's not me.
Bring the Knights of the Round Table. Yeah, they have to see this sheet
and another frame.
So we're in the annulment proceedings. Anne's busted.
And
Henry's
this
pipes
is 6
still
months
working.
later.
Yeah.
So 6 months later, all of this stuff is getting written down.
Yeah. But at least they were kind of cordial in the marriage. So they get married. The king hates her all along, but she was very nice.
Well, hates her sexually.
Keep in mind that she does not know English when she arrives. So she's like, okay,
Yeah. True. Which, how could you not get turned on by that?
That's going to be nice.
Remove the worst part of a lady? Sounds pretty good.
They write all this stuff out. There's 3 reasons for the annulment, right? Mm-hmm. There's one that she was betrothed to the Duke of Lorraine, which as we went into that contract, it really never happened. But Henry actually asked for the paperwork in February. So they were married in January, and February is asking for the paperwork. Keep in mind the timeline because that's important. And then the second reason is they didn't consummate because she's ugly, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
most importantly.
And third was he couldn't love her in his princely heart because he knew that she was betrothed to somebody else. So
I love this is a constant theme of the getting out of the marriage arguments that were never came up or were a problem before the marriage.
Exactly.
Like his brother with like him marrying Catherine, he's like okay with it then, but he's like, well, to get out of it, you were married to my brother, and that is unclean.
Yeah. It's all
And in Leviticus, it says that you'll be cursed with no children if you marry your brother's wife. That's like so you marry your brother's wife, it's impure, no kids. And they're like, oh, that's why we're not having kids.
That's
because
why
of the 3rd book of the Bible.
That's why he had no male heir. Yep. Leviticus was right.
Leviticus.
But it was like a kind of legal thing that he had to get out of. So you think like, oh, he's a king. Like, can he just like kick her out of the castle?
That is strange.
And, like,
even the king has to go through divorce court.
Yeah.
And like figure everything out.
But it wasn't divorce. It was annulment.
Annulment.
So like it's like it never happened. Yeah. The marriage never happened. I did want to mention, so when Anna got the news that she was an ugly bitch.
Can you translate this for me? You're not going to want to get it translated. No, I'd love to. I like to read.
Just have your suitcase ready.
Yeah.
So she breaks down in tears. She's like, no, I am the queen. Yeah. That is the only words I learned so far. I'm queen. I'm queen. And then her And then her advisors blame the translators, and they're like, we're going to get a better translation for you. And then a couple days later, they try to tell her again, and she's still like so distraught. And then they're like, look, if you just agree to this, Henry will treat you nicely.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I won't die. And then she signs the documents. But a lot of the annulment proceedings, he gets Thomas Cromwell to sign all these attestations. And at the time, Thomas Cromwell was in jail.
Whoa.
They were like, you're about to get your head chopped off for all these, like, he made a lot of enemies within Henry's court. So they're like, you have to sign this document that Anna of Cleves was an ugly bitch.
Was his 4.
Yeah, she's actually a 4. Hans Holbein was.
And you knew.
He was drunk when he painted
she was
her.
a 4.
Yeah.
And he signs this paper knowing full well that he's about to get his head chopped off. And he's like, mercy, mercy, mercy. He signed. That's the last thing he says. So can we accept this document as the truth? I don't know.
Wow.
Thomas's attestation?
Yeah. So everything we just explained about her having saggy tits and smelling funny, all of that stuff was written in June, long after.
By Thomas?
By Henry and his advisor. There was Thomas Wolsey or whatever, Wisley, who set up this, who tried to manage the annulment proceedings. So all of this stuff that Anna was an ugly bitch, that was not really talked about until June.
Oh, so they're just building a case.
They're building a case.
They're building a case.
So Thomas Cromwell he was like, please don't kill me.
Yeah.
Anna is a horse.
Yes.
And
Yep.
Wouldn't touch her.
Never.
She's a
I
horse.
wouldn't fuck her with Willem of Cleves dick.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
And then so he immediately marries Catherine Howard, who's 16 years old at the time. And everybody's like, oh, was he like running around with Catherine Howard? There's maybe some rumors that he was. But on the other hand, by the time Wilhelm, Anna's brother, gets the news that they're divorced or that the marriage is annulled, if he's married to somebody else, it makes it much harder for Wilhelm to be like, hey, we had this like legal agreement.
Yeah, we had a deal.
He immediately was like,
both,
nope.
We both spat on our hands and shook my sister.
Yeah.
And so what the hell?
But yeah, we should talk about Anna's the kind of deal that Anna got.
She got a sweet deal.
Great deal.
Because she did cooperate. She was, after all, very demure.
Yeah.
Serene, docile. Henry loved that about her. She was free to return to her home or one of the 3 estates that he bequeathed unto her. And she got an allowance of £4,000 a year, which is a modern day $2.5 million. And she got remarrying rights. So basically
really
just
like,
won the
just
lottery.
Yeah.
And then they just like kind of stayed friendly. I think
Yeah.
because he knew.
It seemed like they were nice.
So their correspondence was like really warm, and they would talk about things, and she would come to court, and actually she was like still butthurt about the annulment proceedings, and like she wrote in one letter to him like, destroy this ring because it has no value.
Whoa, yeah.
Like
Still
she
a
was
little
like slightly bitchy, and when she came to court,
And he's
when
like, I'll give her that one. You know,
Yeah.
I deserve a few.
Yeah.
I deserve a
There was
few.
official paper saying she had saggy tits.
Yeah, so
And
get a few in.
Yeah.
And then Catherine, she visited the court when, the 16-year-old Catherine is is married to Henry. She's 23 at the time, and she bows down in front of Catherine, and Catherine is like, hey, get up.
Wow,
This
nice.
is like cool. And then Anna just stays on the floor to like embarrass Catherine.
Ooh,
She's
nice.
like, no, you're the queen now. This
Wow.
is what it feels like, And she's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm cool.
That's
like,
enough.
you can get up.
Yeah.
You
No,
can
your
just-
highness.
Yeah.
I must. 5 more minutes.
Yeah. What a perfect body
You're
you have.
so holy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But yeah, she outlived all of
Everybody.
Henry's wives.
Yeah. And him,
Yeah.
right?
Well, she lived to 42, which is not that old.
Ripe old 42.
And yeah, had a wonderful estate, got to hunt and hang out. But one of the reasons why she doesn't return home, which is what I can get into, the big reveal.
Big reveal.
Big reveal. The annulment proceedings were not because Henry didn't want to fuck her. It's because her crazy ass brother Wilhelm was up to some sneaky ass shit in the United Duchies of Cleves, Jülich, and Berg.
And what kind of sneaky ass shit was that?
So Wilhelm was set to inherit the Duchy of Guelders. And also Charles V, the Holy Roman Emperor at the time, wanted Guelders for himself because it was like strategically important to invade certain areas, and just for security it was like really important. But her 24-year-old brother at the time was like, no, I want Guelders. And so the reason he was orchestrating the marriage with Henry VIII was so that he would be brought into this war against the Holy Roman Emperor, Charles V. And also he was arranging a marriage for himself with the niece of the Duke of Lorraine. So he would have a French alliance. And then Henry would be brought into this war. And this was all happening when Anne was on the way to England. So when she arrived in England, people were already getting news that shit was heating up around Cleves and that there was going to be a war. So her entourage runs back.
Wow.
Because they're like, we don't want to get caught in the war. We're going to be, we're going to be kidnapped. We're going to be held for ransom if we don't go back right now. So when she gets there, shit is already starting to hit the fan.
Okay.
And then he arranges. So when Henry gets word of this, he arranges a secret council to start the annulment proceedings.
So that he doesn't have to enter a war?
So he doesn't have to enter the war against Charles V. And
what do we got? What do we got? Well, I only have a painting, so I didn't know what she looked like. Misrepresentation in the I think we got something here.
Yeah,
That's good.
There's something with the painting.
The glove.
I don't know.
I was wearing a glove, and so we could prove the glove. Can I get a charismatic black lawyer in here? Maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so since Thomas Cromwell was like trying to get him into this like Protestant League and trying to get him into this alliance, it was like putting England in danger. And that's why Thomas Cromwell's head had to get chopped off.
Yeah, because he embroiled them in all this.
Yeah. And then after he gets rid of Catherine Howard, there's some talk about him marrying Anne again.
Wow.
Because they're such good friends.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Wilhelm kept like writing letters like, please marry her again. He really wanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he really wanted that alliance.
I need 1,000 troops, and my sister's so lonely.
Yeah. You're going to leave her alone like that?
She'd miss you. Yeah. If you could send like 500 horses over.
Yeah. She'd love that.
She would love that.
And also, Wilhelm's marriage was also annulled because the French family that he was getting married to didn't want to enter that war either. And Wilhelm actually did fight that war over Guelders, and he got his ass handed to him, and he had to sign a treaty.
Wow.
And that's the
he
big
was an ugly bitch.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
That was the terms.
He is saggy.
You don't
tits.
get to
My
live.
pussy stinks in this treaty. Why don't I even have one?
Yeah. Wasn't his title? He was like the Rich, right? That was his title, Wilhelm.
Wilhelm the Rich.
I think that was his like thing. I don't know why.
Oh man,
They just gave him that.
I would have gone with Wilhelm Worldwide.
Wilhelm Worldwide WWW.
But I think that is like to the point, the more sad way that Anne did probably live her life, because a lot of people, they leave off like, oh, she had these estates and millions of dollars, when in reality she probably could not leave because she would have been kidnapped and forced into this war, and who knows. So she maybe lived a more possibly like a more sour life. And then when King Henry died, the new king started like taking things away from her.
Oh,
They
really?
started taking away
Some
money in the
clawbacks?
States and being like,
that makes sense, though. I mean, you got like 3, I mean, we only know of a few. He probably has other salaries he's paying out for hush money.
Yeah, but
and then the next king has to be like, what is this? What is this $1 million a year going to?
Yeah, like looking through
Anne of
subscriptions.
Cleves? Exactly.
Yeah.
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 I don't even use this, bitch.
But Mary and Elizabeth, his daughters, really liked Anna too.
Yeah.
And so she had some protection there.
Mm-hmm.
And Wilhelm sent, I think he would send like brigades of people to the new king, like, hey, by the way, what the fuck?
Yeah.
She was promised this stuff.
Yeah.
It says on the wall that she has a smelly ass and saggy tits. You can't just take this away from her. Everybody wakes up and they're reminded. Yeah,
That
they go,
was the trade.
I'm having a bad day, but at least I don't got a smelly ass like it.
Yeah.
Let her keep her castles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for all of time.
Even now we're talking about
they're
it.
paying her to keep that billboard up.
So was this bitch hot or not?
I think she was hotter than history remembers her for. I mean, I don't know if I would, but I have pretty high standards. So that's where I'm voting.
Yeah. So did you guys understand kind of what I said? So
Yeah.
basically, all this history of her being an ugly bitch, that was
Yeah. No, I'm just talking about the
rewritten.
picture. I mean, I think the picture is an accurate representation.
Yeah.
And I think that picture is nice.
It's a nice pick.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice pick. Honestly, compared to all the other wives, like the portraits of them, she does look she's one of the best.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the other portraits are just, I mean, they're not Holbeins, so.
Yeah, I think that's the when you get one of the best
Yeah. When you get
painters of the Northern Renaissance.
Ooh, let's see. Oh, are these all of them?
These are all of them.
Yeah, they're not. Wait,
so
is this her?
is Catherine Howard. There's
Yeah.
also
Catherine Howard is not my
No.
favorite.
the Catherine Howard. So
The last
funny
one's tough,
story
too.
with Catherine
the first.
Howard. This image is most likely Anne of Cleves.
Whoa.
Because since Catherine of Howard was kind of like blotted out of the historical record, we have to look up what happened to that marriage. But
Okay.
there were no images kept around of her.
But I mean, like compared to the others, she does have one of the best faces.
She may have the best face.
Yeah,
to be
that's
honest.
what I'm saying. Oh, here we go. Beheaded. Catherine Howard was beheaded.
Oh, yeah.
We got in order: divorced, beheaded. Jane. Oh, Jane died. Yeah, that's how the song goes: divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. And we are the queens or whatever. And then they go live. It's pretty gay.
Yeah.
That's how 6 goes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I had tickets.
So, yeah, she
get
probably
tickets.
never had children. And, well, for sure she never had
Yeah.
children. She never got married again.
It's so ironic that probably the hottest, tightest one was billed as the ugliest, loosest. I mean, that's a true tragedy.
How do you walk around even saying, no, that's all wrong. Test it right now.
Yeah, and then you try to tell people it's wrong, and then you seem even,
Yeah, you're like,
more
okay.
saggy.
Yeah, a little
'cause you're
desperate
arguing
here.
about it.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
And she wrote a letter to, I think she wrote a letter to Wilhelm or somebody at some time that like proved that she was having a bad time because she said like our kind are still a stranger here in England. Like something to be like, they don't really like us.
Oh,
Yeah.
Germans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and she probably
They call us
didn't know.
Dusseldorks.
Dusseldorf.
It kind of stings.
Yeah,
It still hurts.
It's like funny the first time, but they won't
Also, like, I
stop.
can't imagine you live the most enjoyable life when you're walking around the streets and they're like, that's a lady with the smelly air. Like, somebody, there's
Right,
got to be people
true.
whispering everywhere you go. Like,
Yeah.
There's the Flanders mare.
yeah, what? There's the horse girl. She was probably the
Horse
first.
girl.
That was probably the first time that insult was used.
There's the
Horse
girl.
face. Ah.
Yeah. But all the other queens, I think, were a little too yappy.
Yeah, they all had
It
opinions.
probably
Yeah.
helps
about-
that
Yeah.
she couldn't
Speak
really share
English.
her opinions. Yeah, that was probably a huge reason she
Yeah.
survived, is because Henry couldn't hear all their criticisms.
Yeah, that's true. But also, yeah, she was very agreeable. It wasn't like clear, like her family was like Lutheran leaning, but not quite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so her family was never not Catholic.
Yeah, and Wilhelm had a huge problem with like anti-Catholic Catholicism, right?
Oh,
Did he
yeah,
chase like
didn't
the
he-
sister around with the
Yeah,
axe?
he chased Amalia
Yeah.
around with a hatchet
Yeah.
because she was teaching his kids Lutheranism.
Which is weird, though, because he was like, that's what his region was.
yeah,
Everybody
they
was
were-
mixed. This was like the
Yeah.
beginning
Yeah.
of I mean, it was. It was
Yeah.
the Reformation was like 1511.
Yeah,
So
so
it
they
was
were
very
still
split.
trying
Like
to
Henry
figure
converted.
out.
because he had to for sex.
Yeah, it's like Israel-Palestine right now.
Yeah, you really don't know who's on which side, and then people switch.
Yeah,
true.
Well,
and
so it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, it's not that
I have
like.
to take that back.
Well, no, it is. It kind of is because you assume. You might assume that one person's on one side because they're this or they're that, and then you look more into it, and you're like, oh well. Guess if you're gonna marry that person, you probably need to be on this side.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
What's his face? Henry's dad also warned him not to joust. He was like, jousting is. It was like
On
owning a
his
motorcycle.
deathbed. Oh yeah.
It was like not. He's like, look, you're this endangers the line. Like you're important. You can't die in a jousting. He's like, jousting.
I still got it.
Yeah.
I'm 48. I'm 44.
This is when he was a kid. He was like, I don't want you jousting. It's not safe.
Yeah.
And then
he's like, this is the only time I feel alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the 5 minutes a day. I'm happy.
I'm me up there, Dad. I'm not the king. I'm just Henry. And that's all I've ever wanted.
As I'm charging to either kill or be killed by this anonymous man in metal
You don't know
clothes.
what it's like.
Oh my God, I was in medieval times when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah, they joust.
They joust.
Oh, wow, I didn't know
it's
that.
hot, right?
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like run around, like gallop around the stadium and throw flowers at girls.
Oh, nice.
And I was like getting my team's flower. Like the guy came over and he like held up the flower, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've been preparing my whole life for this moment.
Take me away, medieval times employee.
I'm of age. I'm 12.
Yeah.
This is perfect for those times.
And then exactly right.
Betroth
It's like
me.
a 30-year-old man giving a 12-year-old girl a flower.
Yeah.
Come
And
live
then he
with me.
throws it, and I
Rest in
miss.
Virginia. Oh,
no.
I miss, and then he
it wasn't
on
true
his
love.
on his
That was your
horse.
test.
The man on his horse was like,
Really? To a 12-year-old? He was like, you gotta catch those.
Yeah.
That was
he
an
was
easy.
it slipped out of my hands.
Oh man.
It was like he had money on it or something, and I'm scarred for life from that.
That's so fun. And you've never gone back since.
How will I unite our kingdoms now?
Yeah. Every day you wake up, you tell your boyfriend to throw you a flower. Why are we doing this? Shut up.
I need to be ready next time I meet
100
him.
flower throws.
And I'll know when I see him again, no matter what he's wearing,
Yeah.
no matter what disguise he
Yes.
has. My love will pierce
I
through.
can
Every
tell.
time you're at a bar watching a game, is anybody?
Yeah.
You're leaving your hand out to be kissed.
Oh wow, you missed it. That's really funny. He was disappointed.
Wait, so what happens if you caught it? Would they?
Then they bring out a bed, and then the whole medieval times they have to watch you consummate it, as,
Yeah.
as is in the Tudor England.
Nobody's watching them.
They're watching, dude.
They watched.
I'm telling you.
And
I'm
you
gonna look
can
it up
watch
right
the
now.
King P. in
Yeah,
the
let's
morning.
fact check this.
Something also with the. Let me look up the King's P.
I know what that is. That's called the groom of the stool.
Okay, so
Groom
you got
of-
to like watch the King P in the morning, right?
proximity to the king that you had in the morning was in relation to like your power and influence with the king. So
Okay.
the closest guy with the most power was called the groom of the stool and would literally wipe the king's ass.
Oh,
And would make like crazy big like zoning decisions and like taxing people. And
Yeah,
he was this
he's
guy.
like, you smell this hand?
The
You
power
know-
I wield. Yeah. You listen to me, buddy.
Yeah. Just,
Oh, that's awful.
Well into the 18th century Europe, it wasn't uncommon on the wedding night for select guests to escort the lucky royal couple to their private chambers for the bedding ceremony, where they would watch the night-gowned couple get into bed together. Simply lying together under the sheets was considered consummation.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so they would.
It's called
They
the
do-
bedding ceremony. So it could, I mean, it's at least watching them get into the sheets.
And then they shake the bed.
yeah. They get a little Mormon jump.
Yeah.
Soaking.
Yeah.
Weird to get an invitation to that.
Like, imagine not being invited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get pissed. What did we do that we didn't get invited?
I swear to God, nothing happened.
Yeah.
You didn't miss anything.
Nobody came.
Very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
What is this picture?
Oh, this is just human sexual activity.
this
That's not what I
picture.
want.
Oh,
I
okay.
know, yeah. I thought the bedding, there it is, the bedding ceremony. Human sexual activity is a Wikipedia page?
And the picture for it's
You
insane.
got to distinguish.
Yeah. Numerous witnesses, thereby completing the marriage. Purpose was to establish the consummation either by witnessing the couple's first sexual intercourse or, far more often, symbolically, by leaving before consummation. It symbolized the community's involvement in the marriage. Takes a village to fuck your wife. You know?
One guy's singing.
The ritual is just often associated with music, body, songs, and jokes. It symbolized the community. Wow, could you imagine your fucking buddy just cracking jokes as you're like laying into bed with your
Apparently there were like some
time?
like dirty figurines that were near the nuptial bed.
Oh.
So it was like kind of like you had porn.
Yeah.
Like if you're not in the mood, check out this little guy with the boner.
Look at the ivory boner man.
Yeah. Hold on, let me look at one of these figurines. That'll get me going. Yeah.
Oh, this jade lady's so hot.
Yeah, let me start with this. It's good.
I did read that sex. I have this like list of because some people thought sex was like in Tudor England. The church obviously thought it was very bad, but medicinally, people thought it was like recommended. Mm-hmm. So I'll read you the church one first. The church in Tudor England said that sex was not allowed on Wednesdays, Fridays, or Sundays. Throughout Lent, Advent, and Pentecost, before major holy days, when a woman was menstruating, when she was confined before pregnancy, for a month after childbirth, which I think is pretty standard, while she was breastfeeding, 3 days before taking communion, during daylight hours, no sex, naked, couldn't have sex naked,
what?
Or in any other position than in missionary.
Any other position?
So fully clothed, nighttime,
Tuesday
missionary. That's what you can look forward to in the eyes of the church.
That's what the Lord wants.
But in terms of like doctors thought that men and women each have the seed of life within us, and that we both need to vent our seeds. And so for men, it was like encouraged to go to brothels so they wouldn't like be gay. They were like, use a prostitute so you're not tempted with homosexuality, or you know what I mean? They're like, use a dirty woman who's already corrupted.
Yeah, I think I want
to get the demons
I'm attracted to men. Have you tried a dirty slut?
Yes.
That always gets me.
I'm really into dirty sluts.
Here's a referral.
Yeah. Say John Bryant. Yeah, she'll know. She'll know how to treat you. She looks like a guy.
This was interesting. For women who didn't vent their seed, they could thought to have fainting spells, trouble breathing, high blood pressure, even madness. And so there's this thing called the dual seed theory, that both people have to come in order to make a baby.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Yeah, but coming then was seen as any vaginal emission at all.
Okay, so if the girl gets wet,
you're done. Yeah.
Like, I did my job.
Yeah.
You pull down her pants. You're like, you came already.
Yeah. She's coming all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, we should still reinstate that.
So I thought that was all pretty fun and progressive until they're like, and by the way, coming was anything. It's at any moment.
Any moisture.
Really, yeah.
She could have peed.
Yeah.
Before we start, I'm going to go come.
I feel like that's a lot of what we got on Anne of Cleves. Do we have anything else that we wanted to broach? I do think that's interesting, that they just kind of cobbled this together.
Yeah, I mean, they really did go heavy on how ugly she was in the court proceedings.
Well, it was a key part of the... It was like the crux of their argument.
Yeah, that bitch was ugly.
Yeah, Your Honor, look at her.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Nobody would.
Yeah, nobody would.
What were the arguments again? It was she was already betrothed to that other guy. She was really ugly, and...
in his princely heart, he couldn't consummate because he knew she was betrothed.
Yeah.
He couldn't fall in love with her.
He's too good of a guy.
What a sweet get-out-of-jail-free card they had with Catherine of Aragon, though. That they found a Bible verse to be like, this is like, that's like the law savant coming in with the obscure legal code nobody knows about. And they're like, oh, fuck, Leviticus. We forgot about Leviticus.
Yeah.
We'll go Leviticus on him.
And it's like they all knew the Bible by heart.
Yeah.
My lord, if you don't like it, we'll always have Leviticus.
Yeah.
You can always pull the Leviticus cord.
Yeah. We do that every wife, though.
Yeah.
It always works.
It never fails.
Yeah, we need a whole new argument for this one.
Yeah. Did a king have to have a wife? Because after Jane Seymour gave him a boy...
Yeah, but
was he just bummed?
Yeah, what if that boy loves jousting? He needs to.
That's true.
He wasn't secure. I mean, life expectancy, was so low. So, and he did only end up with a female heir, Elizabeth. So,
it's funny though, because where Anne came from, it was kind of normal for a lady to lead if there was no male heirs. So,
it was totally fine, totally kosher.
In Cleves, maybe. Not in England. Yeah. We have a recurring question that we'll ask at the end is sometimes it's who would you rather be?
Yeah.
Like Henry or Anne, which is actually a fair question.
Yeah.
Or who do you think you would be in the story? If you had to find a place for yourself in this story, which character do you think
I'm the
you'd be?
guy who wipes Henry VIII.
You're the groom of the stool.
Yeah. Power
The
hungry.
Bride of the stool.
Yeah.
Pride of the stool.
That's pretty good.
I'm a lady in waiting. Yeah, I don't know. I think Anne of Cleves had like a good ass life because she didn't have any of the pressures of being a woman of the day. She didn't have to like go through childbirth, which was so dangerous, or deal with a husband.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe she didn't have that companionship, but she had plenty of servants to hang out with and ladies in waiting and all that stuff. So, and she just like got to hang out and go hunting and embroider, and she liked to cook. That was another
Oh, I didn't know that.
thing about her.
Domestic bliss.
Yeah. So
It's
she
pretty
was
nice.
just having I think she got a good deal.
I think I would rather be Anne too. I just don't want to. Thinking of living as King Henry, that disgusting with that leg and he just
I know,
seems like
to
every
die
day.
so fat.
Yeah.
They say he was like people haven't seen. I guess because they didn't know John, they haven't seen a man this fat. Like a fatter man could not be found.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, they
and
didn't
they said
see
that
the Elector of
There was one
Saxony.
They said
Yeah.
the fattest guys they had could all fit in his like breeches.
Yeah.
Like they could get 3 guys in Henry's breeches,
Damn.
Well, they said after the jousting accident,
which was a
his-
great honor.
Yeah, that's
to climb in.
You like to do that every day.
Yeah.
Get in there and scrub me down, boys.
What were you saying?
I said, well, they said after his jousting accident, his waist grew 20 inches.
Yeah.
That's a big boy.
Yeah. It's tough when an athlete goes through an injury.
I'm picturing Ralphie May.
Yeah, he was 400
Yeah.
pounds.
Yeah. And how tall was this guy?
Probably 5'10", I don't know. Probably a sick, normal height. I don't know.
I think he was tall, Henry VIII.
Yeah, he might have been like 6'2".
He was tall for the time.
Yeah.
But you ever like go and see like a medieval kind of?
Yeah, you're like, how tall was...
Yeah, we need to look at his Tinder profile and his Wikipedia page.
This would definitely be his first pick on Tinder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one.
What's he holding? Croissant?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a Danish and a knife to cut it.
That's his butter knife. Oh, look at that bulge. Although I think that's just how
Yeah, that
made.
was the style, though.
To give a
Just
bulge?
to have a bulge was the style.
You're not gonna leave the house
Oh,
like that,
wow.
are you,
You-
Henry?
you
Mom, it's the
stuff.
style.
Yeah.
It's this. Whoa.
Whoa.
This is a high def. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, because you're basically dressing like a woman. The only thing that distinguishes you is the
Yeah, so
bulge.
true, the bulge.
Yeah, it's
How
like
can we
you're
tell?
wearing-
And the beard, I
It's
guess.
like when you check
you're
for
wearing
balls on a dog.
tights, heels, a cape,
Slippers. Yeah.
Bunch of necklaces and rings.
Yeah, this
All
is kind of
decked
like how, you know when
Jewelry.
celebrities sit courtside and they wear like all their cool jewelry? This is like kind of what he looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, every king from this, it looked like Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it
It's
looks
like going to
he's-
get coffee. Yeah, it's so funny that he said that she was ugly when he was the ugliest one. Like he became so grotesque in the end of his life.
Yeah, it was the pot calling the kettle fat.
Yeah.
It's like this guy couldn't fit on a canvas, but he's like, no. I mean, I would love to see, the picture looked great. All of his other wives looked much worse.
Mm-hmm. Well, according to the paintings.
That is funny to get like I wonder if because sometimes you can get a bad picture of yourself, but they're like, no, this is a bad painter. He's horrible. I don't look like that.
Yeah, well, it's tough too because you can't be like, do you have any other paintings?
Yeah.
He's like, that took me 3 weeks.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any other paintings.
Could you do it again?
Do you have like a painting of her with friends?
yeah.
So like I could see relative to them because you kind of fly with the same crew. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the bikini pic.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. How would you have somebody paint you to?
How?
Yeah. How would you like?
What would I choose to look?
Mhm.
What would I
Is there a
wear?
pose
What
you'd
would
be
you
wearing?
wearing?
What's your stance?
Because and
I might go
separate
Napoleon
paintings.
with one arm in
Yeah.
the vest.
Yeah.
On a
I
horse.
love-
Flex the arm a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I gotta get my angles just right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What were you saying though?
Oh, I forgot.
What pose would you do in the painting?
Yeah, I just whatever makes me look the skinniest. I think it's profile, and then you kind of turn your torso front. Is that the trick? I always forget.
Oh, they always made you do a weird contortion in like a school picture.
Oh yeah, always with the neck too.
Yeah,
you got to go
more.
The prom.
More.
Turn your neck.
More.
Down.
More.
I would do the thumbs in the pockets.
Ew, he told you thumbs in pockets?
I have a picture of it.
Oh.
Thumbs only in the pockets.
What is that?
I don't know. I'm bringing it back.
That's the opposite of cool. Cool is everything but the thumb in the pocket.
Yeah, you want the thumbs out.
Put all the fingers in the pocket. That's
cool.
That's so funny. Thumbs in pocket. That shows you're like a pious guy.
Oh yeah. No, what I was
going
to
say
say
God-loving virgin.
Is Anne was wearing the same outfit in 2 of her paintings.
Oh, so she had.
She
was
had like
this
her
is
best.
my portrait outfit.
This is my gold shirt. I'm gonna wear my gold shirt for this.
This really shows off my perky tits. No one would ever think otherwise.
Despite what the historical record says.
I'm trying to get pounded missionary half naked on a Tuesday. I wear this. All right, folks. Well, we could probably wrap it up. Thank you, Naomi, for coming.
This was such a blast.
And thank you for doing a lot of research. You really came informed.
Yeah.
Prepared. Even with a bombshell at the end.
You guys were not as informed as I thought.
Well, somewhat informed.
I mean, but this is the problem. It's like this is the English record, and everybody accepted everything as fact from the annulment proceedings, and they're like, oh yeah, doesn't matter if it was written 6 months later. This is what Henry was thinking the whole time, right? And it's like,
where'd you find this dirt?
Oh,
did you sign up for like JSTOR Premium? Or
yeah.
You're in the library for 3 days before the podcast.
Yeah, there was just always something fishy about the story, too, to me. I was like, there's no way that bitch is not hot.
Look at that picture.
Look at that picture. And it's like the best painter.
Holbein wouldn't have lied.
And it doesn't make sense. I'm like, you think like Thomas Cromwell gets his head chopped off just because he set Henry up with an ugly broad?
Yeah. True.
It just doesn't add up. So... It had to be something political.
So I just thought it was likely that they could have like bribed the painter.
Yeah.
To make her like because Thomas had a vested interest in getting the Union and the Protestant. He was doing a little state making as well. So I figured that maybe that he was a squeaky wheel. That he was the loose end.
Maybe.
But I should have trusted more in Holbein's integrity. He wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and it's like Henry.
Good old Hans.
I mean, Henry, does he really care how hot the chick is, or is he just trying to get a male heir?
That is true, because he also was sleeping around with everybody anyway.
True.
It's like if she wasn't that hot, he would just find somebody else to sleep with.
But apparently he could make it happen with Catherine.
Yeah.
So
he had a child with Catherine.
But just in terms of his like interest.
Oh yeah. Well, she was 16.
Yeah.
So
Hey, you're not gonna make it happen.
A 16-year-old can drag anyone from the depths of impotence. They're a miracle worker.
That's why I bowed down in front of those 16-year-olds.
Every time I see one.
Please.
I'm not worthy.
She's like, I'm cool. Get up. It's fine. I get it. I'm the queen.
Yeah.
It's such a bitch-ass move.
That is great.
So funny.
Well, thank you again, Naomi, for coming. Anything you want to plug aside from your special, which we already plugged?
No,
Instagram?
just watch the special. Follow me on Instagram. Yeah.
What's your Instagram?
At Naomi Karavani. That's Karavani with a K.
We'll put it in the comments. It's going to be in the title. Follow me on Instagram, Zach Russell Comedy.
Charles_Engle.
Thank you guys for listening. Check out the Patreon as well. We're posting more bonus episodes and stuff up there. Patreon.com. Overshadowed Podcast. Yes, thank you, everybody. We'll be back with more next week or 2 weeks from now or maybe never.
All right.
Thank you.
Maybe never.